and it broke.
Come sit on your rocking horse. Got a tongue for you.
Shut up.
Night of the Horrified.
You're all invited.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
So what was your prom like?
My prom was boring.
Boring?
I was dating an older guy. He wasn't allowed to go to prom.
Fun.
Because he was too old. And so every single person asked me if he could buy them alcohol because he was over 21.
So you didn't make out with your dad and then kill your mom?
Oh, no.
No? Okay. Hey, welcome to Night of the Horrified. I'm Lee. That over there is Brittany.
Hi.
And we are talking about 1987's Prom Night 2. And Brittany, you're still here from last episode, so I assume we're doing good.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't scare me off yet. Even though that one was deep.
Right.
Had to dig myself out a little bit.
So, first impressions, what'd you think about this one?
I liked it.
Yeah, we went we went way away from I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh, way away.
Yeah, we went with a little-known slasher. Well, little known to outside people of the horror community. But we went with Prom Night 2, which is, the whole title is Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. This movie was released kind of in the middle of the height of Freddy Krueger.
Oh.
So Prom Night comes out in 1980, and it's definitely a child of post-Halloween, which was directed by John Carpenter. It's probably my favorite director. But it made a lot of money, quite a bit actually. But then here comes 1984 with A Nightmare on Elm Street, and that kind of twisted up the whole slasher genre a little bit. Because you had something that most people hadn't really seen too much of in the slasher villain, Freddy Krueger.
Like more deaths and things?
Well, a more supernatural angle, too, because how Freddy killed you in his dreams. And that movie, the 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street, really kind of brought forward that nightmare aspect of kind of things.
Oh,
and,
I see.
Yeah, you'll understand.
Your nightmare's coming to life.
Right. You'll understand the similarities between this movie and A Nightmare on Elm Street when we get to that.
Okay.
But, so this came out in the height of that, which Freddy Krueger had landed. Nightmare 1 and 2 were making fucking bank. And the same year that this came out, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 came out, and that's a lot of people's favorites. So that, in turn, when everybody decided to get around to making Prom Night 2... that really influenced their decision here. Because this movie didn't start out as a Prom Night sequel. It actually started out as a generic little haunted high school movie, I guess if you want to call it that.
Were they directed by the same people? Prom Night and Prom Night 2?
No, they were produced by the same person, but they weren't directed. Yeah, they weren't directed by the same people.
Okay.
But, so, I mean, you even have, with the special effects, you have the same people, like some of the same guys and gals that worked on A Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984. So you have them doing some special effects in this, which really, you can definitely tell the similarities. But, no, I love this movie. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
Okay. Opening scene's a little creepy. You see weird props in like a basement thing. I happened to hit pause for some reason, and it paused on what looks like a penis creature. I had to talk about the penis creature.
Yeah. Well, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a fucking bobcat, but you were very convinced that it was a penis creature.
Because I didn't see like the bobcat face. I just saw like a worm. And so I was calling it a penis creature.
Yeah, we're definitely not to penis creature territory.
No, I've watched too many penis movies lately. So.
Right. So the opening scene is it's kind of nowish, I guess, and it's kind of panning over all these props and stuff, because obviously we're in this high school's basement, which has all the drama department props and stuff. If you've ever ventured into that room that I used to, because obviously I was a member of the drama department because I got little to no sex, and
it was a little weird.
Yeah,
you got
so
costumes and props and stuff everywhere.
So obviously it's the school's basement with all the crap in it. And it pans over to a trunk. And there we see inside the trunk that's open, we see a tiara.
It'll come back to haunt us.
Right. So then we flash backwards in time to the year 1957.
Pouring down rain, and there's a woman walking into a church.
Right. And this is 17-year-old Mary Lou Maloney, our villain of the movie. Not yet, but we'll get there. So she goes into the church, and she begins to confess her sins to the priest.
I have to read these off.
Oh, yeah. You wrote them down.
I did. Disobeyed parents, taking the Lord's name in vain, sinful relations with boys at school. Oh, boys at school, sorry. And loved every minute.
Yeah. And immediately, I think you liked her.
Oh, she's my friend.
And that's why I say Mary Lou definitely belongs up there with some of the big name slashers, because she's so likable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's not dropping one-liners quite like Freddy was, but she definitely belongs up there with the tears. But then she leaves and heads to her prom.
She goes with a man named Bill. That's where you meet Bill.
Oh, yeah. I suppose he's supposed to be 17 too, but with a receding hairline.
Terrible receding hairline.
He's playing a young Bill in this, and he's playing the younger version of Michael Ironside's character later on, but he looks the same age as Michael Ironside.
Yes.
So she's dating Bill at the prom.
He gave her a ring.
Right.
She says, "I love my ring, thank you."
Oh, yeah, because it has ML on it.
Yes, Mary Lou. And it's black, which I thought was a little weird for that time, but Mary Lou is a little weird for that time. He goes to get her a glass of punch and says, "Don't leave." And she says, "Oh, I won't." And then she leaves.
Because Mary Lou don't give a fuck, is basically what...
No, Mary Lou is for Mary Lou and herself only.
So that's when she sneaks off, and after she sends Bill to get some punch, she sneaks backstage with Buddy Cooper.
Buddy. They start making out.
Right.
And someone goes up to Bill and says something about him dating Mary Lou. And he was like, "We're still dating." And he was like, "Well, she just went behind the stage with Buddy." Oh, he's pissed.
As one would be. So Bill marches the fuck back there to confront her ass. And that's where he finds Buddy and Mary Lou making out. And what is that she says about her whole body is a free country or something?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Mary Lou's a little whore.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill's like, "We've been pinned for a year." And Buddy's like, "Oh, you want to shake hands?" Like,
oh, man,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, so.
He immediately insults.
Right. And
like,
I'm so surprised no fight goes down.
Yeah.
They don't fight.
But
so they go back out. The record player starts playing this prom song, and it pans to a prom queen's tiara. And then Mary Lou says to Bill, "It's not about who you came with. It's about who you go home with."
And so I mentioned this movie was filmed as a completely separate movie from the Prom Night franchise. It was originally written and filmed as The Haunting of Hamilton High, and it ended up being changed by Samuel Goldwyn Company when they decided to get around to the fucking sequel. And so what it ended up happening was they took this movie, which was originally a separate movie, like I said. They took this movie, slapped the title Prom Night on it, Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, and they did some reshoots, which the guy who wrote the movie, Ron Oliver, who's actually an Emmy, he's actually has some Emmys, and he was in charge to go back after the movie was completed and do reshoots for like $100,000. He made it more kind of a loose sequel at that point. But what her line was, what Mary Lou said at the prom, was actually the tagline of the original Prom Night movie.
Oh.
But that was a pure coincidence. They didn't add that. So it kind of fits. So
It does.
So, and this movie's like a loose sequel. Like, it's not a direct sequel.
Right. So it cuts to Bill in the bathroom. He's cleaning something off of his shirt.
Right.
I don't know what it was, but he's cleaning it up.
I don't know. He's just moping.
Right. And these boys are talking about a stink bomb.
Right. They're preparing a stink bomb to throw out in the crowd of dancers at the prom.
But then they throw it in the trash can.
Well, the principal walks in, or a
Oh.
teacher. They're not really clear. They don't say who it is.
Okay,
But
that makes
he ends up walking in and it scares them off. So they throw it in the trash so they don't get caught. And that's, because Bill overheard them preparing the stink bomb. So he goes and grabs it because he's going to get back at Mary Lou.
Right. So it goes back out and they announce Mary Lou as the prom queen. And she is doing a strut. She is so happy.
Oh, man. And you got to talk about the song they play. Mary Lou by Ronnie Hawkins is the name of the song. And they start playing that when she goes up. I feel like, do you think they chose the name Mary Lou for the killer because there's like 2 songs with the name Mary Lou in them?
Probably.
Because you got this song, and then you have the Ricky Nelson classic, Hello, Mary Lou.
Bill goes up on this scaffolding above the stage, and Mary Lou's dancing around, and he lights this stink bomb, and it catches on fire.
Right, because the fuse is real long, and when he throws it, it catches her dress. The sparks do. It catches her dress on fire. Which, damn, do you think in the 50s they didn't make dresses very flame retardant?
No.
Yeah, this thing's fucking made of asbestos or something. But
And it just goes up so fast.
and this scene where she burns to death was actually at the time the longest fire scene ever filmed, like the longest death by fire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the longest running fire stunt in any movie at the time. So,
And it wasn't very long.
no.
10, 15 seconds maybe.
No, I mean, yeah, because nowadays that's nothing.
Right. But the whole time, she's watching Bill.
Oh,
She
yeah.
knows that Bill killed her.
And she's getting real crispy.
Yes. Then it pans to an ominous skull.
Yeah. Well, hey, what the fuck was that?
I'm assuming.
Does that come back?
I'm assuming Mary Lou's skull.
Why? She's buried in the graveyard. You see what I
don't
mean?
know. Yeah.
Yeah, that was confusing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a prop.
Maybe
it's
so.
just another one of the props. I don't know.
Oh,
That
it
was
might
confusing
be,
to me. Like, we buried her body, but for a keepsake, we went ahead and stored the skull upstairs.
So it moves to 1987.
Yes, which is when this movie came out. So technically, it's supposed to be
1987.
Yeah, it's supposed to be it is 1987 during the present, but we cut the present day, which is not now. Holy fuck, I'm getting my head confused. The present day, which is not now.
It was now then.
It's the future, Marty.
So this is where we meet Vicky.
Right.
She's our main character, not main character.
She's the main character, basically. Yeah. She's the person we follow through most of the movie. And Vicky is she's kind of prim and proper because of her upbringing. It's kind of religious.
Yes.
I mean, it's very religious, but not by today's standard. Like by today's standards, it's really religious. By back then, it's probably just fine. But she has a religious, overbearing mother, and her father seems pretty cool. And she's talking about looking for a new prom dress, and her mother's a fucking bitch. But
she's like, the green one is just fine.
What about your green one?
And her dad's like, how much money do you need?
I know, and she's like, you shut the fuck up. But she didn't really say that.
She was like, no money. The green
like,
one is just fine.
God, the vagina must be really good. I'm just saying, if you're gonna.
Ew. No.
Ew, what do you think super religious sex is like?
Missionary.
Do you think they're saying instead of "Oh God"? Do you think they're saying "Sorry God" or "I'm sorry Jesus"?
It feels so good though.
I'm having one. No, all right.
They're saying 6 Hail Marys after they're done. So they're praying, fighting about this dress, right. And then Craig comes on his motorcycle.
Right. And Craig, okay. So these people are in other things. Michael Ironside being the biggest actor out of all these people. He's been in over 264 things.
Holy shit.
But yeah, he's really prolific. You'll see him. We'll hit more movies with Michael Ironside, and you'll know why I like him a lot. But Craig, her boyfriend, he went on to do some good stuff. He was in some episodes of The X-Files. He was in like 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. And I know you love that show. Do you remember the episode where they're out in the desert and Walt has that guy say his name?
Oh, yeah.
That's him.
Oh, okay.
That's the guy. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I'm a fucking dictionary of useless knowledge.
Nerd.
Nerd alert, nerd alert. All right, moving on.
So Craig picks her up on his motorcycle, and her mom is not happy.
Oh, yeah. She just chases after everybody with a motorcycle. Whoa, why'd she go British there at the end?
And they go to a restaurant, a little diner.
Right. And I feel like this movie takes place in a diner like quite a bit every once in a while. Like there's a lot of diner scenes and it really makes me miss a diner. I want to go to a diner. Not an IHOP. IHOP's not a fucking diner. That's not a diner at all. It's a make-believe diner. I want a real diner, you know? Where the cook probably spit on the grill, but it's hot, so it's going to kill off the bacteria, so it's not a big deal.
Are you talking about Hugo's?
Oh, yeah, we do have a Hugo's. Still, though, it's just not this. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I got to stop going off on these tangents.
So he's talking about, he got his tux, and she's like, I got my green dress. She's all mad at her mom. And he gives her a gold cross. Oh,
yeah. He hands her a gold cross. And is he trying to get in good with the mom? Is that what that is?
Maybe.
Like, look, I bought your daughter a cross. Everything's well.
Well, I think he is also religious.
Right.
And just because he drives a motorcycle doesn't mean he can't be religious.
Right. The themes they're kind of going for is that Vicky and her boyfriend are kind of pure. I think that's what they're going for. I think so too. So it makes it interesting when someone possesses her. Because you see the progression as she's getting possessed by Mary Lou. But that's later on.
Giving things away.
I know. I keep jumping forward. I'm sorry. I really like this movie.
So they're at school. And she's talking to Monica.
Right.
Her best friend. And her best friend's like, Monica says, I can't go alone to prom. And she's like, I'm 18, stunningly good looking. Wait, But I put a note here. Potato dude in the back. Or in the front of the
Potato
classroom.
dude.
Talking about potatoes.
So
telling
potato
time.
dude, yeah, he's talking about his fucking potato clock and
His
how he
science
tried
fair
to make
project or whatever it is.
how he tried to make one out of guacamole, but all he got was the Spanish channels. I thought that was pretty good. I'm sorry.
It was
That was a
funny.
dad joke, but that was pretty funny. But his his name is Josh, and this actor.
Oh, that was Josh.
Yeah, and this actor is actually, interestingly enough, the only actor to return in each one of these movies. He was in the first one. He's a little kid in the first one, but he's in the first one. He's in this one. He's in the third one, and he's in the fourth one. All different characters.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just interesting.
That's
And
cool.
so Josh is going on about his fucking
Potato. So Monica says, I'm 18, stunningly good looking, but why do guys not ask me out? And the guy behind her says, do you want to get together after school? She's like, get lost, asshole.
She turns around and is like, I just don't understand why guys don't ask me out. It's like, God damn.
Don't be a bitch.
Oh, shit.
I mean, the right guy might want you to be a bitch, but not all of them.
Yeah, but how often are you searching for the right guy in high school?
Every day.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Well, unless you're Mary Lou.
The right guy is whoever's there.
Some women are like that, yes. So it cuts to the principal, which is actually Bill.
Right.
And doesn't look much different. Looks the same age as he did when he was at prom.
Bill ages really well. Or he youngs really bad. I
Right. So his son comes in to see him, and you realize that his son is Craig.
And were they going for like some kind of weird reveal there? Like, oh, it's
Dun,
Bill.
dun, dun. I don't know.
That wasn't a big reveal because they look the fucking same.
Right. And his name was on his placard
Right.
and stuff.
I don't know. The way they were trying to sell it, it was almost kind of like,
And why was Bill yelling at Craig about food? He was like, I see you didn't have breakfast.
oh yeah, they have this really drawn out conversation about not eating.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
It's really weird. It's kind of like the writer got really high and was really hungry. He's just like,
Bill needs to eat some
really
food.
want some breakfast. God damn it.
So Craig tells Bill that he doesn't want to go to college, that he wants to get a job for a year. And Bill tells him, you're throwing away your future.
Right, because Bill isn't interested in.
Craig.
No. Oh, fuck.
Craig's not interested in going to college.
Right.
So it cuts to Vicky walking with her weird friend Jess. Jess looks like if Edward Scissorhands dressed up like the 80s. That's Jess.
Oh my god.
Without the scissor hands.
Right. Jess is kind of the.
She's quirky.
She's that 80s cool chick.
Oh, yeah.
She
You would have
looks kinda
so
like-
tried to bone her.
It's not Ali Sheedy, but it looks fucking somewhat similar to Ali Sheedy in The Breakfast Club.
Oh, yeah.
Just with spiked hair.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
She's crazy spiked hair, and they're
Right,
talking
right.
about how she's going to get her prom dress from the prop room in the basement of the school.
Right.
And then she says, I got to go to the doctor. Vicky's like, what? Why do you go to the doctor? She's like, I just have to get a checkup. And Vicky's like, okay.
Yeah.
But they're kind of looking at each other all weird.
Hitting at something weird.
Yeah.
But
Then-
so Vicky, her last name is Carpenter, and I don't know if you noticed this. Well, I mean, obviously you didn't notice this because you don't know any horror directors. But a handful of characters in this movie have last names of like cult icons or horror directors.
On purpose?
Oh yeah, like Vicky's last name is Carpenter, John Carpenter. Somebody's, I can't recall, but somebody has the last name Craven. Somebody has the last name King.
Oh.
There's a Romero, a Browning, a Dante, a Carpenter. Oh, yeah, Vicky Carpenter. Fuck, I just said that one. Hell, even John Waters gets a nod in there. And, like, all these names are very unfamiliar with you, but they won't be.
Yeah. That's really cool, though. I like it when shows and movies do that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, this is where we meet Kelly. And Kelly is part of the popular girls, as you can tell by the way she's talking and stuff.
Right, because you can't have a high school movie without the bitch.
Oh, yeah. She's talking about how her prom dress looks like a salsa dress or something like that. And
Right.
it's really expensive and blah, 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 blah. And then nothing happens. You just see them talking.
Yeah, they're just kind of going on and on about the prom.
Yeah.
Most of the little side conversations in this movie are just about the prom, so it's pretty easy to digest this movie
Right.
because there's not a lot of like deep convo. Like,
No, not really. So it pans to the weird wardrobe trunk in the basement that we saw at the beginning, but now it's shaking. Vicky's down there looking for a dress,
Right.
you assume, because she's
Yeah.
looking through the clothes.
because her fucking mother wouldn't let her buy a new one.
Well, maybe they didn't have the money.
No, they had the money. Look at that house. They could afford all sorts of white things like cups and bowls, and that house is fucking white. Like, really white. Did you notice how much white stuff is in her house?
No, I didn't actually.
Like, there's white cups. They're fucking drinking milk. It's weird. I don't know. I get it. They're trying to sell us on the purity, but Jesus
I was about
Christ.
to say,
Yeah,
purity.
it's a
They're
little much.
super pure. So she sees the wardrobe or the wardrobe trunk, sorry, and it goes to open it. Why?
Yeah, you
Why?
just saw this fucking thing shaking. Now, one, it could be a ghost. Okay. Now, barring that, two, it could be a fucking like bobcat or something. I don't know. It could be like a
It
fucking
could
creature.
be the penis creature.
Right, a penis could fly out and attack you. I mean, we've seen that in other movies. You never know. So, why would you fucking open the random shaking case?
Whatever. So she pries it open. And as soon as she does this, the picture in Bill's office it's like their senior class picture.
Right.
It breaks, and the point of the break is right on Mary Lou's face.
Yep. This freaks Bill out because he sees it.
He's like,
But
"Whoa."
so she opens the case, and that's where she finds Mary Lou's items.
Yes, the crown and the cape.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the trunk slams closed. So Bill drives to the church, and he's just sitting outside of it.
Right. I think he's going because the picture breaking and everything kind of freaked him the fuck out. So he's going to go. I think he's going to talk to Buddy, but he kind of thinks better of it because Bill, through most of this movie, is kind of the realistic person. You know, he's thinking more down to earth about the whole thing. He doesn't all of a sudden like jump to a demon is coming to kill us all.
But what you don't know that you haven't told them yet is Buddy is the priest of the church now.
Right. Buddy's gone on to be the head priest, I suppose, or the only priest.
I don't know.
You know, I've never been. This looks like a Catholic church, so I'm assuming it's a Catholic church.
Catholics are the only one that do confession.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
Like, I don't. Do they only have one priest?
No. Well,
see, in all these
sometimes.
scary movies, you only see one priest. So is it just the one?
Most of the time, you have a head priest, and then you have.
Okay, I take it back because in The Exorcist there wasn't just one; there was like two or three.
Yeah, but you needed
okay.
like 2 or 3 for an exorcism. But yeah, most of the time there's the head priest, and then you have people below him, and they have different names, and I can't remember what they are.
Oh,
I haven't been to church in a very long time.
See, you're teaching me things today.
Yes. And they each play their own role.
Oh, okay.
Now, I think down that line, anybody can help with confession. from my understanding, most of the time, the priest is actually not the one there in the confession box.
Oh, okay.
Because the priest is off doing whatever, I don't know, touching little boys or something, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't see that part of Buddy.
He's a good priest.
We think. He could be Michael Jackson, someone's butthole in the back rectory.
Hey.
Don't they call it the rectory? Isn't that funny? Rectory.
Oh my gosh. Stop. So, they make eye contact. Bill and Buddy do.
Right.
Because Buddy's walking and Bill's in his car. And they look at each other and then Bill drives off.
Right. Because like I said, I think Bill's just thought better of it. He's like, there's nothing fucking going on. I don't know why I'm coming over here to talk to this dude. Let's get the fuck out of here. So he pulls that way.
So it cuts to a scene of the girls at school and they're like prom decoration committee or something like that because they're making decorations and
Jess is with them.
Yes. And she's making some kind of weird hand mold thing.
Right. They're putting together the prom stuff.
Right.
I remember when people, I wasn't alive back when this movie was, but I know in my high school there was prom committee and stuff like that. Which,
right. But Vicky brings in the crown and the cape and they're like, are you crazy? We don't want to wear a dead girl's stuff because they're talking about the fire.
Right.
That happened in 1957.
Right.
And Jess freaks out. She's like, it doesn't matter. And then storms off.
Yeah, she has a fucking meltdown and just fucking leaves. And Vicky leaves the cape and the crown and everything in the room and goes to go after Jess to talk to her.
So Vicky finds Jess crying in the bathroom. And she's crying and she's saying, there's this guy and he won't call her back and she just keeps calling. And she has some choices to make. And Vicky's like, just forget about him. And she's like, Jess says, well, he gave something for me to remember him by. I'm pregnant.
Right. So some dude fucking impregnated Jess and then skipped town, apparently.
As you do in 1987.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Shit.
That's terrible.
That's an awful thing to say, madam. God damn.
It happens.
Right.
It cuts to Jess staying late after school. And I guess back then, the students could just lock up.
Well, honestly, at my high school, we could do that.
Oh, that's weird.
If you were part of the prom committee or like the yearbook team or something like that, you could fucking stay after school. But yeah, this is where Jess decides to randomly become a thief. I didn't.
Right. She puts the cape on and then she grabs the crown. And then why is she trying to take the jewels out?
That's what I mean. She's all of a sudden trying to take the jewels out. And
maybe because she's pregnant and she thinks she can get some money for them.
Maybe, I guess.
This is where the bad shit happens.
Yeah. So this is where shit gets real. And the spirit, I suppose, of Mary Lou comes out, grabs the cape, and starts pulling Jess around. And it kind of pulls her across the floor. And I hated this part because you think as it's pulling her across the floor, it pulls her over this, what are those things? They're like paper cutters, the big
paper slicers that you can measure your paper because it's got the lines on it. And you lift it up and it makes a loud noise. It's like...
You made the sound effect. But yeah, it pulls her over there and it has her neck right there. And you think, oh, sweet, we're going to get a sweet ass beheading. But no, it just hangs her. Because like the cape rips up and wraps itself around like a fucking light and just pulls her up and hangs her. And so I was like, oh man. And then for some odd reason, it goes into overkill and just throws her fucking body through a window after it hung her.
They wanted to make sure she was really dead.
I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, what?
Or
What?
maybe that someone would find her.
It's like, oh, you didn't see this coming, did you?
Right.
Can Freddy do this? It kind of cuts to after Jess is dead and we see her laying on the ground. It cuts to Buddy and he's praying. And some kind of force knocks over, because he's got a picture of Mary Lou with 2 candles next to it, because I guess he still feels guilty for what happened. And he's sitting there praying, and some kind of force knocks that fucking picture down, breaks it, freaks him out a little bit. But then we cut back to them. They've found Jess's body, and they're calling it a suicide.
Yes. And Vicky walks up and says, "What happened?" And someone says, "Jess killed herself."
Yeah, and she assumes it's because she was pregnant.
Right.
I mean, what else would you assume? I'm sure nobody would assume fucking demon prom queen got her.
Right. So it just pans real quick to a funeral, which I thought was strange.
Right.
And after at the funeral, Vicky walks over to Mary Lou's grave. I feel like she's like drawn to it for some reason. And
Right, because...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's all I had.
Oh, so yeah, she's drawn to the grave for some reason because she's starting to kind of go through some changes.
She's starting to feel a little weird.
Yeah.
And she says that. It
Right.
cuts to them at school, and she's looking at the prom posters and stuff, and she says, "It feels weird to have prom after this happened."
Yeah.
And the popular kids come up, and they just start talking shit or whatever. And then all of a sudden, Fabio comes up.
Yeah, fucking Fabio. Is that Kelly's date?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's
yeah.
Kelly's boyfriend.
Yeah, Kelly the asshole. That's her date. And he looks like a 1980s Fabio. It's fucking hilarious.
It's great.
Because he's clearly not a fucking teenager either.
Right. He's really tall, has long hair, blonde, blue-eyed. Fabio.
Yeah.
And he's joking. He's looking at the pictures, and he says, "Well, those are some well-hung pictures." Like, really? Gotta make a sex joke? And they're talking shit. Kelly's talking shit. And all of a sudden, Vicky yells at her and says, "Shut your fucking mouth, bitch."
Yeah, she just goes off on her. She usually doesn't do that. So
Right. She's usually really reserved.
So this is the first part where you can see something's happening to our hero Vicky.
And that's when the lunchroom goes black. And she
Yeah.
starts seeing bugs and...
Right, she starts having like these hallucinations.
Yes.
And like I said, this movie came out in the height of Freddy Palooza. And when we get to A Nightmare on Elm Street, we'll discuss Freddy Krueger had fucking taken over this country.
Oh, really?
Freddy was fucking everywhere. He was on lunchboxes. Everybody knew Freddy. He was like... It's weird to think about that because that was kind of before our time too. But it's weird to think of a horror icon being so iconic that everybody knew about it. And it was like the thing. Like, because Freddy at one point, Freddy owned the part of the 80s. And it was like that was those few years, that was that year's Marvel. Like, he was fucking exploded. There was Freddy Toys, a TV series at one point. It was insane.
Oh, wow.
But we'll get to that when we discuss Nightmare on Elm Street. But so the hallucinations in this film, I think, are very much inspired by that. Like a big part of them. Even the musical cues are kind of inspired by that, because the shots of the hallway being all creepy and the red and black colors.
Right,
I mean, it all just screams fucking Freddy.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. Because you're just waiting for somebody to pop out.
Right. And in this hallucination, is that where she finds the head floating in the fryer?
Yes.
Because she goes into the
Mhm.
haunted cafeteria, I suppose.
Yes.
It's probably just the same as every other high school cafeteria. I mean,
There's big ass roaches.
yeah, because at my high school cafeteria they brought all our food basically from outside, but they also had the stuff they cooked in house.
You guys were preppy ass bitches.
Oh yeah, we were spoiled as fuck, and I still thought life was fun.
Oh my god. We ate chicken fried steak every Thursday, and we were
Yeah.
happy about it.
So there was probably a head floating in one of our fryers at some point.
That's what you
But-
get. So she freaks out when she sees the head and runs into the hallway, and it's dark and it's trashed, and she sees a water fountain and takes a drink of it, and it's blood,
Right.
or what you assume is blood.
Well, when she runs down the hallway, it turns back to normal for a minute. And then when she bends down to get the drink of water and turns to blood, then it goes back to
Oh,
fucking...
you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Then it goes back to Freddy's high school. And
You hear someone ominously say, "I love you, Mary Lou."
yeah, and there's... Oh, who is this? It's just like
Right.
a random greaser.
Right. It was weird.
He runs up and starts sexually assaulting her. And because that's what you want.
Right. And then it cuts away from all of that, and she's at home
Right.
at the table with her parents, and her mom says, "Your college letter came." She says, "Well, thank you for opening it."
Yeah. It's like, damn.
And her mom was just like, "Excuse me?"
Her mom gives her the Christian mother look. And
Oh, yeah.
it's like, sorry.
Well,
No, fuck that bitch.
right. Then Vicky tells her and her dad that she wants to work for a year. And they're like, "Oh, hell no." And her mom says, "Not as long as you live under my roof." And she's like, "Well, maybe I should move out right now."
Right.
And her mom says, "Oh my God." Oh, she doesn't say anything. She just sits down and she starts praying. And this is where Vicky hears all of, like, a bunch of voices at once.
Right.
And she just storms off.
Right. And she storms off to her room, and I think this is the part with the fucking horse with the tongue.
Nope.
No? Is that later on?
This is where she's painting her nails and putting on lipstick.
Oh, yeah. So she's doing that. Well, she's painting her nails, and you can tell earlier in the movie that she doesn't wear much makeup, and she only paints her nails like a light pink because, you know,
Right.
Christian mom probably thinks she's a harlot. But so she ends up like starting to put on lipstick, which is outside of her character, and then she looks up in the mirror and
She's got a full face of makeup.
yeah, and she looks like the Mary Lou character, but it's still the same character who plays Vicky. But she kind of gives herself a look, and then it freaks her out. She freaks herself out, and she wipes the lipstick off.
Yeah, because she's freaking out.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Monica and Josh walking.
And Josh likes Monica.
Yes.
You can tell.
They're talking about, or he says, "We could be like at the same place at the same time at prom."
Right. And not be, dating.
And not be dating. Yeah. And she was like, "And we can kiss and get it out of the way." Because she's saying, like, they'll kiss at prom or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she just goes and kisses him. And he was like, "Anything else you want to get out of the way?" Like any teenage boy would do.
No, right.
And this cuts to volleyball.
Ooh, volleyball.
Mm-hmm. And all these girls, all these popular girls are dressed kind of skimpy. And Vicky's almost like fully dressed.
Right.
And they're kind of making fun of her for it. And they're saying it's Vicky's serve and Kelly has the ball, and just, I don't know how she even hit her that hard. Just whams her with the ball.
Right.
She falls down, and she kind of passes out. And the next thing you see is she's surrounded by a bunch of girls chanting Mary Lou.
Yeah, she's having another one of her weird ass hallucinations. And they're chanting Mary Lou.
She gets stuck in the net, which kind of turns into a spider web.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Halloween yard decoration, but it's a spider web.
Right.
Traps her a little bit. She starts struggling, and then she comes to.
And she's like, I'm not Mary Lou.
Right.
It cuts to, or it pans to Bill, and he looks so pissed off.
Yeah, he's like, fuck. Because somebody said Mary Lou, and those kids should know who the fuck that is, really.
Right.
I mean, they do, but nobody talks about that.
Right, because it happened a long time ago. It's not significant to their lives. Now, Bill's life is very significant.
Right. Because Bill's technically the one that killed her.
Right.
So he's kind of pissed, kind of freaked out a little looking. And then,
but yet, he still goes to the basement.
Right.
What is he doing in the basement? I don't know.
I don't know.
But then he hears that trunk knocking. And maybe that's why he went to the basement, because he's hearing it.
I mean, did he know that? Okay, here's the point of contention for some people with this movie, and what I've read some comments, is her soul trapped inside the trunk, or is it trapped inside the objects? See, I read this movie as those objects that Vicky gets has Mary Lou's soul is tied to those, so when she takes them away from the trunk, it causes Mary Lou's soul to start fucking shit up. So that's how I read it. But how did you think?
I read it as she was trapped in the trunk, and Vicky took those things, and the trunk opened, and I would say released Mary Lou's spirit.
Right. So you kind of read it as some other people did too.
Yeah.
Because other people read it that way, but then some people read it the way I did. So
Right.
I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing.
Craig walks Vicky home, and she told her mom that she fainted at school. And her mom tells her, you need time with the Lord.
Yeah. She's like, you need more time with the Lord.
And her dad's like, Craig, you staying for dinner? And her mom's like, no, guess.
God, I know. Her fucking mom sucks. Shit.
And her mom, I assume, makes her go to confession.
Yes.
So she goes and she confesses of sinful thoughts about boyfriend, disobeying her mother.
God damn it. I think our neighbor's dogs are having a fight. Fuck up! Think they heard me?
No. And about seeing things. Seeing things about Jess and Mary Lou.
Right.
And Buddy starts to freak out a little bit.
Right.
Because he's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Fuck, you said Mary Lou?
And she said that she doesn't have self-control. And he says to pray about it.
Right.
And then it just all of a sudden cuts to Bill burning the class picture in his fireplace.
Right, and Craig walks in to tell him that dinner's ready. And I'm sorry, but if I walked in and my dad's burning photos, that would arise some questions.
Right.
Dad, did you kill someone? Is that why you're burning photos?
Like, what?
Fuck.
You've had this photo for like 20 years. What the fuck?
What is this? You're burning it now? Like, what are we doing?
Right. Maybe Bill thinks that Mary Lou, since the picture broke, thinks Mary Lou's spirit is in this picture.
No,
I don't know.
No, I think what's going on is I think Bill just doesn't want to fucking remember this shit.
Oh, yeah. Get rid of it.
Right, because so after Vicky talks to the priest.
So then it cuts to Vicky drawing in her bed. And she drops her picture, or her pencil, and her picture changes. And it changes from a picture of, I assume, Jess, to a picture of Mary Lou.
Oh, she drawing Jess there?
I assumed.
Oh, okay.
It's a woman, and then it changes to Mary Lou, so...
Right.
I don't know. And the rocking horse starts to rock.
Hey everybody, just a reminder, it is nearing the end of Pride Month, and I've been asked what is a good Pride horror movie. In my opinion, I would say the best movie to watch near the end of Pride Month would have to be A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, starring Mark Patton. And it's pretty obvious why I would choose that. If not, go watch it. Anyway, back to the show. By the way, this rocking horse is fucking creepy.
It is.
This is one of the scenes they actually went back and reshot.
Really? Why?
Yeah, that got added in later. Most of the
Scary.
shots that they like added in are definitely inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street. So it's like this and like a couple of the other hallucinations and stuff.
Yeah, because it reminded me of that. So the horse rocks. She yells, "Go away." The horse's eyes turn red. And then all of a sudden the blankets like attack her. And she can't
Starts holding her down.
move. And that kind of made me think of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right. Well, and I feel like this shit would have scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid. The fucking rocking horse is creepy as shit.
Yes.
Rocking horses creep me the fuck out for some reason.
That's because you're not a girl.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because as soon as I see that rocking horse in her fucking bedroom, I'm like, why? What is this here for? Unless you're into some weird freaky sex thing, then okay.
Well, seeing that she's like 18, it's a little weird. But when I was like 8, I had a rocking horse.
Oh yeah.
But it wasn't all white like that. Her whole
That's
room is
what I'm
white.
talking about. This entire house is fucking white.
Right. So the blankets attack her. The rocking horse is going crazy. She finally gets out of the bed and she's trying to open the door.
Right.
And she can't open it. And she goes over to the mirror because something's happening.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden these hands pop out.
Yeah, they start reaching through the mirror, which the practical effects in this movie are pretty fucking cool.
Hey, it was really neat.
Because like I said, like
for that time.
Yeah, a lot of the guys who worked on A Nightmare on Elm Street worked on this movie, which is the similarities again. But so the stuff looks pretty fucking cool.
It does. I was like, those are really good special effects for that time.
Usually, like, to make that kind of effect, they film, it's a pool of water that they've made look really still and have kind of a reflective kind of surface to it.
Oh, yeah.
And they film it from up top, and then they have somebody reach through and stuff. But I don't know how they did this.
Oh, I don't know either. So she's yelling, "Leave me alone." And the horse starts growling. Then all of a sudden it all stops and then her parents come in.
Right. Well.
Oh, she threw the radio at the horse.
Right. She throws the fucking radio because the horse is sticking his tongue out at her. Yeah. Come on.
And her parents come in and she's like, I dropped the radio.
Come.
And it broke.
Come sit on your rocking horse. I got a tongue for you.
Shut up. Like the tongue from Teeth, the old
there
man.
you go. Oh, God.
That was his horse.
That's his horse?
He taught his horse.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, she's like, I dropped the radio. I was like, damn. For 5 feet up in the air? Like, you dropped it? Or...
Yeah.
So.
For some reason, she walks to the graveyard. I don't know.
Yeah, it just cuts. She's walking through the graveyard. I think she's looking for Mary Lou's grave, which she finds it, doesn't she?
Yeah, she found it when she was at Jess's funeral, and then she finds it again.
Right, and she comes across the old buddy.
Yes.
I'm glad do people name their kids Buddy anymore?
I don't know.
God. Buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, buddy. Okay. I was watching this while I was like super high like a while back, and there's a scene between, it's coming up, but there's a scene between Michael Ironsides and Buddy, and he's like fucking, he keeps calling him Buddy, and I thought he was just like calling him Buddy, and he's like, that ain't happening, buddy. I was like, I don't know why I was giggling my fucking ass off because I thought Michael Ironside was just calling this dude Buddy, and then I was like, oh wait, no, it's his fucking name.
That's his name.
So she confides with Buddy about the shit that's been going on, and freaks fucking Mr. Buddy the priest out. He has to pull himself away from Michael Jackson and little kids' buttholes for just a short time.
Stop.
Because he's got to warn Bill. Now, I think after she leaves, he tries to pray over Mary Lou's grave, and his Bible bursts into flames, which that's metal as fuck. You know, props to Mary Lou. And so that's when he gets the idea to go talk to Bill, because the way Vicky's stories have made him feel is he knows that Mary Lou's trying to get back, trying to kill them all.
Yes.
But when he's there talking to Bill, when he finally gets there, as he's walking up, he walks up on Bill's kid Craig, and Craig's repairing his motorcycle. he's like, "Can you hand me the fucking wrench?" What do you say?
This goddamn thing's not working.
Yeah, and he looks up. It's the priest handing him the wrench.
But also in the scene in the graveyard, Vicky says, "Goddamn" to the priest also, and I was like, why are these people saying goddamn to a priest?
Goddamn, you know?
Right? It's just a little weird.
So he confronts Bill and starts telling him, and I don't know why Buddy went from thinking Mary Lou's coming back. I don't know why he assumes Mary Lou's going to take over Bill's body.
Oh, he says because I'm a priest.
Right. So it's not going to take over him, but why would he assume her coming back, she's going to take over either of them? Wouldn't she just take over whoever and then kill them both?
I don't know.
See what I mean? I don't know. Maybe he just assumes that because he murdered her, sort of.
Yes, I think so. Because he murdered her.
So anyway, he confronts Bill. Bill kind of tells him to chill the fuck out. And that, like, they're different people now. It's not the same. They're not the same people. Nobody's coming back from the grave to kill anybody.
And Buddy says, she's in purgatory. She's looking for revenge.
Right.
And Buddy says, you need to go to communion. You need to protect yourself.
Right. He holds up his cross. He's like, this is the only thing that can save you. The Lord Jesus Christ. The Lord will take you and protect you from that prom demon now.
Don't go down that road now.
Oh, what?
That's what it sounded like you were going into.
Oh, shit. I think all my impersonations fucking just run together. I'm terrible.
That's okay.
All right.
So it cuts to Craig picking Vicky up. And he says, oh, no straitjacket?
Oh, yeah, because her mom's a fucking bitch again.
Right. And she says she hasn't slept. And Craig says, why? What's wrong? She's like, you wouldn't understand. I don't even understand what's real and what's not real.
Prom demon's trying to kill me.
And, they're in the cafe. Again.
The diner.
The diner,
Excuse
sorry.
me, God.
The diner.
My
I'm
diner
sorry.
I want to go to. And have pancakes.
No.
Or like, what other diner food is good?
Hash browns?
Hash browns. Yes, diner hash browns are the shit. And then like eggs cooked the right way.
Are you stoned?
No. I think I'm just hungry. Anyway, moving on.
So she says, I'm afraid of hurting someone. What if I hurt you, Craig? And then all of a sudden the waitress like drops a tray on their table, right? And she like freaks out.
Like, damn. Even in normal circumstances, that might jar me a little bit.
Right? Oh, I would definitely be scared. So this cuts to Kelly trying to get into the computer room
All right.
with Josh, the nerd,
Right.
and she wants him to fix the computer vote.
Right. To make it to where she wins prom queen.
Right.
Because I think it's kind of general consensus that probably Vicky is going to win.
And she cannot have that.
Right. Because Kelly's a bitch. And okay, so Kelly, through this movie, she's constantly drinking a Diet Pepsi.
Oh,
Have you
I didn't
noticed
even
that?
notice that.
Yeah, she's always like, well, not always. There's scenes with her not doing that, but most of the time she's drinking a fucking Diet Pepsi, and it's like enough to where the Diet Pepsi should probably have a credit. Like,
They
But-
probably,
you think they paid?
Oh,
Because
I don't
the
know.
label's in view. It's Diet Pepsi,
I know, but back then you could do stuff like that
right?
and not get in trouble for it, so I don't know.
Oh
maybe.
yeah. Well, I don't know if you could. I think product
you
placement
could.
was a thing. Oh well.
I remember watching, like, The Real World, and they had all kinds of labels
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff like
because
that.
now like they have
Now they
labels
don't
based
even,
on it.
like, show them eating stuff.
I
like-
just thought it was yeah. Most of the time you're like, do people in the real world eat anymore? Or...
Yeah.
But
Yes, they don't.
I just thought it was really fucking funny. This lady always has a goddamn can of Diet Pepsi. So she wants to pay Josh to rig the fucking election for her.
$100.
Yeah. A whole $100. Shit, I'd take that.
Hell
No,
yeah.
$1,700 just to rig a fucking election. Fuck it. I have no moral ties to the school. I'm leaving it.
Right.
So, now does he refuse?
He just kind of looks at her, and she offers more money
Right.
and shows her, or she shows him all the money that she has in her wallet, which looks like about $400 or $500.
Yeah. So she's really trying to sweeten this deal.
Right. And we know what he wants.
Yep.
He wants a blowjob.
A blowjob.
He doesn't come out and say that.
No, he hints at it. You kind of get what he's talking about.
Right. And she calls him a bastard and leaves.
Yeah.
And he said, to her, he says, life's a joke, and then you croak.
Pay me my price. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
But so she goes back to school, and then we cut to them in. Are they in English class? I wasn't very clear.
Whatever class.
Yeah, well, they're with okay, this dude's hair. Their teacher. Let's talk about that for a sec. His hair is a comb over mullet. Like, if you're looking at him from the front, it's just a regular comb over teacher hair. And then from the back, it's like touching his collar. It's a fucking comb over mullet. That's all I can do to
Yes.
explain it.
Because he's balding on top.
Right.
He doesn't want to let go.
No, he's
And
still
just
holding
shave
on
his
to that.
head.
It's like nowadays when you see really old guys with ponytails. It's like, dude, just, it's okay. You can give up.
Right.
We all do eventually.
It'll be okay.
So, is it Monica that hands Vicky the yearbook
Uh-huh.
from 1957?
And from her dad's sock drawer?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Why
That's
would he
an odd
store
place.
his senior yearbook in a sock drawer?
Odd place to keep your senior yearbook. Like in my dad's sock drawer. I know, I went through my dad's sock drawer. It was weird. But in my dad's sock drawer, it was like
Socks?
cigarettes, socks, I don't know, just various doodads, nothing weird. Not a senior yearbook. Like,
Right. I don't know.
So she flips it open to the page with Mary Lou, and that's when she sees her. And it kind of jars her just a little bit, but then what does Kelly says something.
I don't know. I didn't catch it.
I didn't either. But Kelly says something, just digging into her a little bit. And fucking Vicky, who's kind of getting possessed by Mary Lou. Vicky hauls up and pops her one in the face.
She slapped her
She
so
slapped
fucking hard.
the dog shit out of this lady. So then we cut, the teacher's like, Vicky. And it's like, then we cut to Vicky in detention.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I think this is like the scariest scene to you because Vicky she goes back into one of her hallucinations. And
Yes.
On the chalkboard starts scratching out, help me, really loudly. And we have a high-def TV with good sound, and it is like,
It's hurting.
oh, that got to you.
That's because I don't like chalk.
Right.
I don't
Oh,
like
it
the
got to
sound
me
of chalk.
too.
I don't like the feeling of chalk. Like, no.
This is the
I don't-
first time I've seen you squirm while
Yeah.
we've been doing this series, and we sat through fucking I Spit on Your Grave.
I don't like chalk. That's all I can say. I can't stand it.
So
The smell of it. Ugh. And the kids always want me to draw with chalk. I'm like, no, I don't like you. I'm a terrible mother. I can't do it.
Hating on Chalk with Brittany. It's the new, that's our new show. It's our side show.
No.
She's going to go through all the chalk she hates.
No. So, in chalk on the board, it starts to write, help me. It's backwards, by the way.
Right. And she approaches the board and she reaches out to touch it, and the board turns into a fucking water place. I don't know.
Swimming
No,
pool?
it turns into like a swirling vortex of water, and it kind of sucks her in. Because, these hands come out and grab her and shit like that. Start pulling her into it, and it kind of swirls around and then just turns back into a chalkboard. Which, again, that's more Nightmare on Elm Street dream shit.
Right. And she ends up naked in the basement.
Right.
And she's like making this smirk. Like, I know something you don't know. And
Yeah, because I think what we're supposed to assume is that Mary Lou has fully taken over her body.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And
She's and we'll get to that at the end of the movie, but I feel like she hasn't taken over her body. Mary Lou's just wearing a shell. And we'll talk about that when we get to the end, but that's what I think.
Is that
I
not
think
the same thing?
Yeah, no, I think it's just, I guess it's the same thing. Fuck. Anyway, moving on.
Because Vicky's not there anymore.
Right.
But Vicky's there, but Mary Lou is in her
Yeah.
body. Anyway, so it cuts to her going to confession. And she goes and sees Buddy.
Yep, she goes to confess to Buddy.
And she says, I hurt my friends. I had sexual relations with my boyfriend. And Buddy asks, what's happening? You're straying away from the Lord.
Yeah.
And she says, will you pray for me?
Yeah, he's like,
And
yes,
he's like,
my
"Yes."
child.
And then she said, will you fuck me?
Yeah, and we're like, whoa. And,
And she says, my body's a big free country.
yeah, and he realizes, because she says the same thing she said when they were making out at prom, and he realizes who it is. And he's like, oh, fuck. Oh, well, he doesn't say, oh, fuck, he's a priest. But he
Right.
says, oh, Lord, and stuff. But she busts through that fucking wall and grabs him.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah. And he, I love this part, because he cowers in the corner holding up his crucifix, right? And she snaps it from him. And she's like,
Oh, yeah.
she says something. She's like, you know what? There is no heaven. And you know what really pisses me off? There's no fucking wings. She just stabs him in the face.
And then it cuts to her at school dressed in 1950s garb.
Right.
And,
And we're playing Mary Lou.
right. Oh, playing Mary Lou. Yeah. And she just starts being weird or not weird. She was being really rude to Monica.
Right. She's acting like Mary Lou. Like her.
Right.
Even the way she talks and stuff. And like, because you do see her kind of changing over time because like at the beginning of the movie, she sees Craig, Vicky sees Craig putting sugar in his coffee, and she's like, that shit'll kill you, or that stuff will kill you. God, I curse too much. I curse more than the movie. But she says, that stuff will kill you, and stuff like that. And she doesn't put any sugar in her coffee. And then you see her later on, she puts sugar in her coffee, and Craig's like, what the?
Right.
But yeah, you see her changing over time, but now she's fully Mary Lou. So even in the way she talks, because she tells somebody, see you later, alligator, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like 50s mannerisms.
Yes, and we'll get to that in just a little bit too. Of things that she says. Oh wait,
Right.
no, that's here. No,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah.
not. No, it's not. It'll be in a second. So they're in the classroom, and they're like in science class or something. And the teacher's going on and on about how this will do this, and he's like real passionate about it. But he goes up to what I'm calling Vicky Lou. It's Vicky's body.
You're calling her Vicky Lou?
Vicky Lou. I wrote it here.
That's
Vicky
funny.
Lou. Because it's like,
Makes sense.
yeah. Because I want to say Vicky, but it's really Mary Lou.
Right.
But in Vicky's body. So,
So Vicky
Vicky
Lou.
Lou.
I like
Yes.
this. That'd be a
Yeah.
badass band name.
Vicky Lou.
Vicky Lou.
So he goes up to her and she's like asking for help or whatever. And he's like, you just got to get this hotter. And touches her butt.
Oh, yeah, the teacher
Ugh.
touches her ass. That's so creepy.
Because, he has the right to do that. But whatever. So he walks back over to his desk. And they have these little Bunsen burner things on their desk. And Vicky Lou looks at it and kind of nods her head. And this flame comes shooting out at his dick. That's what he gets.
I know, right? That's an STD from hell.
So it cuts to Monica and Vicky in the locker room, and she's like, Monica says, "What's happening to you?" And Vicky says, "I'm swell." And
Yeah.
Monica says, "Who says swell?"
It's not swell anymore.
Right?
Monica's pissed at her and stuff like that.
Because she was rude to her in the hallway.
Yeah, she's
And
not
then-
acting like herself. She's being a bitch to Monica, and Vicky's never been a bitch.
Right. So she's like, what the fuck is going on with my friend? And then, this is so weird. It cuts to Monica and Vicky naked in the shower.
Right, and Vicky Lou
Vicky Lou, sorry, that's what I meant.
walks up to Monica and is like, "I'm sorry," and Monica's like, "It's okay," and stuff like that. And like Vicky Lou oh god,
Vicky Lou.
you're fucking me up with this.
Vicky Lou starts kissing Monica. Just
Oh,
like,
can we
not
just
like
call her
making
Mary
out with her. Yeah, we'll call her Mary Lou.
I'm getting fucked up. Ah! So Mary Lou kisses Monica's nose kind of playfully, and Monica laughs about it, and I'm getting excited. But so,
Just two girls naked in the shower kissing.
well, yeah, I mean, shit. So she kisses her nose real playfully, but then she starts trying to make out with her, and Monica's like, "Whoa, whoa,
This is going too far.
And so she runs off, and Vicky's like giggling and stuff as Monica runs off.
Ugh.
So Monica's freaked the fuck out by now.
Yeah, and she's telling Vicky to leave her alone.
Right. So Monica runs off into the locker room, trying to get away from Vicky, who is fucking weird. But Vicky is like butt ass naked, walks out.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
See them titties.
I mean, shit, boobs. We got a boob count on this one. Have we had boobs in the other ones? We had boobs in the other ones. Right?
Oh yeah. Not in
I don't count. I spit on your grave.
No, I meant
those...
on teeth, no boobs. Yes, boobs.
Yeah, we saw some boobs.
Oh, and I did say that too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh
When
shit.
she's looking in the mirror.
We need to start a boob count.
Okay.
Like maybe not this month, but maybe next month we'll start it.
Women's empowerment. Boobs.
Woo, boobs. So she's Vicky or Mary Lou. Fuck, this is confusing.
That's why I was calling her Vicky Lou.
Possessed Vicky is chasing Monica into the locker room, and she's kind of playing a cat and mouse game with her. Monica ends up hiding in a locker.
They had big ass lockers.
Yeah, well, it's a locker room locker.
Even our locker room lockers in school.
Yeah, they weren't that big, were they?
Fucking tiny.
Well, it's a person-sized locker, so
I bet you could have fit 2 Monicas in there.
Probably. So Monica crawls into the locker, and possessed Vicky is walking by, and she's like scraping her hand across the lockers. It's making a squelching noise, and she walks right by her. So Monica kind of breathes a little, thinks she's okay, but then,
bitch, not to breathe.
Yeah. But then, possessed Vicky turns around and it's like a wop babaloo bop a wop bam, and the lockers on either side, all the lockers crush in and just smash Monica, and there's like blood and gore just pouring out of the vents on the locker.
It was great.
It was
like
fucking
ground
amazing.
Up body just dripping out.
It was great. So Monica's fucking crushed like a mother bitch, and
and then it cuts to Vicky standing in front of the locker room door, and she's walking away, and it says "out of order." Like she put that there.
There's hamburger meat in there, so it's out of order.
Ugh, gross! Don't say that.
Yeah.
And it cuts to they're like, Craig's there. Where are they at?
They're in the gym.
In
and
the
they're
gym,
trying,
that's right.
Yeah, they're getting the prom all
ready.
decorated and stuff.
Right.
And this is where Mary Lou kind of seduces Craig.
He says something about it's, he's not ready to grow up.
Right.
Basically. And she was like, let's get you out of the real world and take you to a fantasy or something like that.
Yeah. So
takes him into a back room.
Yeah, she lures him away. Because she makes him think that she's going to have sex with him.
Right.
But then, like, as they're making out and shit on, like, this couch thing, she fucking just grabs him by the dick and starts, like, I guess twisting it. I don't know.
I don't know.
But, squeezing something that doesn't need to be squoze.
She was squeezing hard. She's like, do you not know how to use this thing?
Yeah, she's just yelling insults at him and shit. Well, he pushes her off, but then she, like, grabs him by the throat and, like, floats over to the fucking wall. And I think she just kind of knocks him out. But the way she kind of does it, it kind of makes you think she broke his neck.
Right. I thought he was dead.
Right.
And this cuts to a weird scene. And it's Craig and Mary Lou. Actually, Mary Lou, not Mary Lou in Vicky's body.
Yeah.
Mary Lou in the back of this car. And he's like yelling, Dad, because he's getting killed.
And Billy is watching him getting pulled away in the car.
And his head starts bleeding.
Right. It's his dream because he wakes up at his desk and he's like, oh, fuck.
And Vicky's there.
Right. She's like standing right in front of him.
And he was like, are you looking for something?
Yeah.
And he sees the ring on her finger.
Right.
The ring that he gave her at their prom.
That's when he realizes.
Right. And she said, you didn't know I was coming? You should have known I was coming. Or something like that.
Yeah.
She crawls over his desk and sits in his lap. And they start to kiss a little bit.
Yeah.
And he says, Mary Lou?
Yeah, he realizes it's really her.
Right. And she said, that's my name. And gets up and walks off and says, see you later, alligator. So it cuts to Mary Lou in her room. And she's sitting on her rocking horse. Did I say Mary Lou? I meant Vicky. See, I'm confusing myself.
It's the same person. See, you're confusing her. Everyone's confused here.
At this point, Mary Lou is Vicky and Vicky is Mary Lou, so it doesn't matter. She's on the rocking horse, and she's like playing with the horse's tongue, and he's kind of possessed still because he's got red eyes. And her dad comes in, and he says, you'll remember for tonight forever.
Yeah.
And she goes up to him, and she just starts kissing him.
Yeah. She
Which
starts
is
fucking
weird.
making
And
out with
he's,
her
like,
own dad.
Kind of making out back with her.
Which is odd. I guess nobody can resist Mary Lou. Is that what we're getting at?
That's where I'm getting at, yeah.
Ew, though.
Yeah.
So anyway, her mom walks in and
Of
is like,
course.
"You fucking harlot." No, I mean, again, nobody says fuck. Why am I
Right.
inserting fuck?
She says, "What are you doing, you Jezebel? You harlot."
Yeah.
And she says, "You must repent."
Yeah, tries to block her from leaving the house.
She's like, "You're not leaving." And then all of a sudden, she's screaming. And it's panning back and forth between Vicky and the mom. And they're screaming. And it does it like 4 or 5 times really fast.
Right.
And the scream is so dramatic. And then all of a sudden, the mom goes through the front door.
Right.
And
And
she's dead.
yeah, and fucking sorry, that's just funny.
The dad's up there like,
Telekinetically get smashed.
right? The dad's up there like, was I just making out with my daughter?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's like, all right. I'm gonna go hang myself in the basement.
Right?
So
And this is where it cuts to Craig and Bill at their house.
right, because Billy has found Craig, and he's got him in bed and stuff like, or laying on his bed, and
Right.
Craig comes to, and Bill tells him, I gotta go finish what I started all these years ago and stuff like that. And Craig is like, no, I need to go find Vicky, and Bill tells him, no, you need to lay down and stuff and rest. And Craig is like, no, you're done telling me how to live my life. I'm going to find Vicky. And he turns around to start getting dressed.
He's like, I can't find my shoes.
And Bill fucking cracks
They're
him over
right
the head with
here.
a
Bam.
fucking shoe, knocks him out. I was like, I want to knock somebody out with a shoe.
Right.
That would be fun.
I'm gonna hit him pretty hard, I would
Just
say.
fucking knocks him out with this fucking shoe. And Bill goes off to go dig up Mary Lou's body.
Which is weird.
Yeah. Well, I think he's trying, because again, I think Bill is trying not to remember this shit. He doesn't want to face the truth of what the fuck's going on. So he goes to dig up Mary Lou's body to prove it to himself that she's fucking dead.
Oh, okay, I
Like,
see.
Yeah, he doesn't want to face all this shit. So
I
he
get
goes
you.
there, digs up the grave, and he finds Buddy in the grave where Mary Lou should be.
Then prom happens. They're inside. They're taking pictures of Vicky, who's acting like Mary Lou, because she's like dancing around, and you notice that Vicky's not really like that, but Mary Lou's very outgoing, and
Vicky's
in
more
your face.
reserved,
Right.
which I'm confused on why people think Vicky's going to win prom queen if she's not very outgoing and stuff. You would think
Right.
the outgoing, less reserved people would win. But anyway.
I think they're all a little like Christian,
Oh, yeah.
so maybe that's why she would win
Maybe.
over Kelly. So Josh is looking for Monica, can't find her, and for some reason, who calls Vicky's voicemail?
Vicky's voicemail?
Someone called Vicky's voicemail, and she was like, "Vicky's not home. She's at prom, killing people."
Oh, her answering machine.
her
Holy
answering
shit.
machine. Sorry,
I was like, whoa.
sorry, answering machine. It's voicemail now. And she says, she doesn't say Vicky. She says, "This is Mary Lou."
Yeah, Mary Lou's not here right now.
She says, "I have things to do and people to kill."
Yeah.
So who called that answering machine? That's what I don't
Oh,
understand.
who knows?
But it just cut to that, so that was
Yeah,
weird.
that was kind of odd.
Then it cuts to Kelly and her Fabio boyfriend. And I guess he's like trying to make out with her or something like
Yeah.
that. And she's like, "I paid $65 for this hair. Don't mess it up." And it is so fucking glittery. As a girl growing up, I always wanted everything to have glitter.
Really?
Yes, like,
Oh, man.
oh, so much glitter. Not stripper glitter, but like,
Stripper.
I wanted my clothes to have glitter, my eyeshadow to be glittery. And her hair was so glittery. I loved it.
Oh, man. I do remember girls in high school that would hang out with me and stuff, and you'd get that head on the shoulder thing from a girl. And then, like, later on, you'd be like, what the fuck is that? There's, like, glitter all over your shoulder. What
it's
is
the
this?
herpes
The
of
fuck is
craft
this?
supplies.
There's probably glitter on my clothes from, like, 2001 or some bullshit.
Oh, don't make me have to beat some bitch up.
Burn them!
Then it cuts to Bill getting ready. He has a gun.
Yeah.
And the crown.
He's getting loaded up.
He's got the prom queen crown.
He's going to go face the prom demon.
Then it cuts to Josh. And he throws away a gift that he had for Monica. But Monica
Right.
didn't show up, so
Yeah,
he
'cause-
thought that she just, like, stood him up.
Yeah, because Monica's ground sirloin right now.
Right? And he's at the computer, and he says, young love, then you croak.
Yeah. He's all fucking depressed. And that's when Kelly enters.
Oh, yeah. And he says, the winner is, and she's like, who? Who is it? And he's like, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And he's like, but not you.
Yeah. He's like, I told you my price. And that's what I was like, oh, God. Pay me my price. It's your mouth.
Right?
Your mouth on my cook.
She gets on her knees. And she was like, you better get to typing. She doesn't say typing. She said, you better get your hands on that keyboard.
Right.
Because
And-
she wants to be prom queen
Yeah,
that
and
bad.
she goes down on Josh.
Does he have a horse cock?
Oh. We have got to let people in on that joke eventually.
I can't.
Tune in. Will we tell you next time?
Will he tell you 10 times from now?
Who
I don't
knows?
know. So she gets done.
Yeah.
she goes back to Fabio.
She goes back to Fabio and he's like, you got any more of those mints? Your mouth tastes like amazing. She's like,
Right?
"Ah."
She's like wiping her mouth on
Oh,
her dress and
You
stuff.
kind of taste like nerd. I don't know how.
He does not say that.
Nah, he's been there.
Apparently he didn't know.
With that hair. Anyway, so as Josh is changing the outcome of the votes to make Kelly the winner, this is when, because we see Vicky Lou, or Mary Lou, Vicky, somebody, possessed Vicky. She grabs, and I guess this works, she grabs the electrical outlet and electrocute Josh's fucking face through the computer and crisps him up.
It says wrong. Dead wrong. And these fucking, what are those supposed to be? Computer rays? Lasers?
Yeah,
what the fuck were
it's
they?
amazing. It fucking electrocutes him and kind of like he's bleeding and popping and shit like that. So
His hands and his face.
fucks his shit up.
Mm.
And he's dead.
Cuts to Bill going up a ladder.
Yeah, Bill is going up the scaffolding because they're about to announce the prom queen.
Oh, and Craig rolls up.
Yeah, on his motorcycle.
And they announce the prom queen. And it's
Vicker.
Ricker. So she goes up. Someone in the crowd looks at Kelly and says, "Hey, Kelly, how'd you blow it?"
She's like,
That's my
oh,
favorite. I love little
that's
jokes
perfect.
like that.
Yeah, that was good.
Then Bill shoots Vicky right in the chest. Craig runs
Right.
on stage, and he's looking at her, and she's lifeless. And he's like, "Call an ambulance! Call a fucking ambulance!"
Yeah. And like everybody's freaking the fuck out because the principal just shot one of the students. is what
Right.
they
Someone
saw.
saw him up on the scaffolding and was
Right.
like, "Mr. Blank has a gun." So Vicky starts convulsing and screaming
Right.
as Mary Lou's demon comes out of her body.
Yeah, she's kind of crispy looking. What
Uh,
did you say she looked like?
A zombie and a werewolf had a baby. Because she looked furry.
Yeah, she's supposed to be burnt, but yeah, she looks like she's kind of furry. And I was like, I remember mentioning man, I love practical effects. They look so much better than CGI. And you're like, I wouldn't say better.
They just put some fur on her or
I mean,
something.
it's not the best practical effect, but it's pretty cool.
It was cool. It was
yeah.
Because it came out of her body.
Right. It doesn't have that weird... I don't know. With CGI... CGI is fine, but as long as it's done well. But, like, it doesn't have that weird uncanny valley kind of thing going on with it, which is like... You see something and it looks completely fake, and you know it's fake, so it's hard to imagine it's there.
Right.
Kind of like the Wolfman remake with Benicio del Toro. Is the same kind of thing. There was too much CGI in it, but I think this looks cool.
Yeah, it was pretty great. So, what was I gonna say? So she starts like breaking lights with her mind and stuff like that. And as this is going on, people are screaming and running around. And she starts to look more and more like Mary Lou. Right.
She starts transforming back to her former self,
right.
Which she doesn't get all the way. She's still got a little bit of crusty on her, on the side of her head.
You got some burnt on you.
You got some schmaltz right. You got some schmaltz right there on the side of your face there.
Like a handkerchief.
You need to get that horse back in there.
Oh my goodness.
I'll clean that crusty off you, Mary Lou, with my tongue.
Ew. So, she's like throwing Craig around, throwing Bill around.
Right. She's fucking the place up.
Yes. And Craig runs to the basement and sees the light from the wardrobe trunk.
Right. Well, as soon as he starts for the basement, because he goes to, for some reason, he decides to fucking get up and try to punch Mary Lou or something.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And she like throws him, right?
Yeah, she grabs him by the throat and throws him. And then Bill fucking just biffs and like smashes his face right into the floor, which, by the way, it really looked like Michael Ironside got just face first into the floor. And he notices the tiara.
Oh, that's right.
And then Craig is running for it, and he heads down to the basement, which he closes that. It was like a gate with chicken wire. It's the worst fucking security system I've ever seen. But he closes that, and he's just staring at Mary Lou because she's in the stairwell looking down on him. And then all of a sudden, she pulls some Freddy Krueger shit and like pops up right in front of him on the door.
And that was a pretty good jump scare.
Yeah, it was nice. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And then he like falls back all dramatic.
Yeah, he fucking freaks the fuck out and falls down the stairs.
And he's like walking through this basement, and all of a sudden a flame just comes out, and then a shelf gets knocked over.
Yeah, some weird shit starts happening. And at one point, because she's playing that cat and mouse game kind of shit with him. And at one point, he goes and hides in this back room. And there's a fucking sarcophagus there. And it opens, and our good friend Josh is all fucked up, and his head turns around. And he just looks at him, and he tells Craig, he's like, "You're in deep shit." He's just like fucking bleeding and all gory.
Ugh. Then he hears someone crying, like a woman crying.
And it sounds like Vicky. So he goes and unlocks the door and opens it, and it's Vicky. And she embraces him and everything, and he hugs her.
She's like, "What happened to me? I'm hurt."
And he's like, "Oh, God." And then, like, she turns into Mary Lou, and she's like, "Sucker."
Of course.
And she makes that trunk appear, and it starts sucking him into the vortex.
No. And she says, "See you later, alligator." Right,
which is... Again, is that vortex? Is that supposed to be the purgatory or?
It's the Nether portal.
The Nether portal
from
purgatory?
Minecraft.
It's the horse. The horse is in there. Oh my God, I'm going to talk about that horse for too long. So, Craig is getting sucked into the fucking portal, going God knows where, and we think all is fucking lost, but then Bill arrives.
Dun dun dun.
With the tiara. And he places it on Mary Lou's head, and they kiss and kind of share an embrace and stuff. And I'm assuming we're meant to believe that, like, the tiara being rejoined with her has appeased her spirit, I suppose.
Yeah, because it rushes through, like, the gym. The camera just rushes through everything.
Right, pulls
and
a
goes
Sam
to
Raimi.
A what?
Nothing. You'll
Oh.
find out later in our show.
So it goes to her headstone, and her headstone catches fire.
Right, like explodes. And then we cut back, and Mary Lou has disappeared.
It goes back to the 50s prom
Right, and we see Bill and her kind of
dancing.
dancing around the little flashback kind of thing.
And then flashes back to the 80s prom, and the trunk closes.
Right.
What happened to Vicky? Did he, like, take her out of the trunk?
Yeah, he hears her
Oh, yeah, she was
talking.
crying in
Yeah,
the trunk.
she's saying something inside. I couldn't tell if she was saying help or something, but he notices Vicky is in the trunk, and he opens it, and she comes out. So obviously, like, she came through the portal after Mary Lou's spirit was appeased by the tiara.
With ghost goo and all.
Right. And I think if this would have ended like this, I kind of would have been weirded out, because I was like, no, wait, I thought she was a spirit. I didn't know.
Right.
I
was
didn't
a little
understand, because I thought Bill, when I first saw this, I thought Bill was going to, like, destroy the tiara, and that would have made a lot more sense to me. But anyway, it doesn't end there. The kids, Craig and Vicky are exiting the fucking prom.
Oh, but first he has to make sure that it's Vicky. He
Right.
says, "Do you take sugar in your coffee?"
Oh, yeah. And she says, no, that stuff will kill you.
Exactly.
And it's Vicky. Yay!
Yay.
It's not Vicky, Mary Lou, Vicky Lou, possessed Vicky, whatever we were calling her earlier.
Vicky Lou is still the best.
Vicky Lou?
Half
I still
Vicky,
the Vicky
half
Lou
Lou.
sounds like a song. Like, what's that song by Dick Dale?
I don't know.
Desilu? Desilu?
Is it
I don't
Mary Lou?
I don't know. Tweet me. Somebody tweet me. Tweet me that song. No, I do think they named her Mary Lou, though, because there's 2 songs with the name Mary Lou in it, though.
Probably.
I'm still sticking by that claim.
And it was probably pretty popular back in the 50s.
Well, because her song, her kind of theme song is both of those songs together. So it works
Right.
out. I think it was a smart idea. But
Right.
so Craig and Vicky exit the building, and they climb into the back of a car. And I was thinking, did they know whose car this was?
I assumed it was Bill's car.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Bill had to have driven there. And he's in the car
Right.
and asked
I
them
was
if
just
they're okay.
a little confused. So they hop in Bill's car, and he turns on the radio, and Mary Lou's song starts playing. And they notice that he has on the ring.
Mary Lou's ring.
Yep. And he turns around and he's like, "Hey, kids, they're playing our song," in the creepiest motherfucking way possible. Only
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Ironside could fucking deliver. And he locks all the doors, and they're freaking the fuck out. And he says, "Let's cruise." And they just drive off.
Dun dun dun.
And did you read the license plate?
I did not.
It said Mary Lou 2 on the license plate. I
That's
thought
cool.
that was kind of nifty. But and then credits. Woo! So what'd you think? What'd you think about this?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I picked this because I felt like I know Prom Night would have been. It sounds weird to pick a sequel over the original one, but I do like the sequel better than the original one, because Prom Night, like I said, it's just your run-of-the-mill slasher movie, and there's nothing really to it. This one's a little bit more unique, and I think it was forced to be unique, and it makes it to where Mary Lou is she's a really good slasher. I think she's kind of up there with Freddy and stuff. She deserves a little bit of a review, and if you ever get the chance to watch this, you should.
Oh, yeah.
It's excellent.
I would
it's
definitely
it's
recommend.
good fun. It's like you have your Freddy Kruegers and you have your other people. This is kind of like a combination of all that, and
Yes.
it's nice. And there's nothing deep in it. It's just a good scary movie to watch on a weekend. If you got a fucking hangover, it's fucking brilliant for that. But yeah. So the prom scene, that was awesome. And that kind of ties into our next movie that we're having on.
My favorite.
That's right. We're showing Carrie, the original.
Yay!
The Brian De Palma masterpiece, Carrie, which is one of his fucking amazing movies. But Brian De Palma was great. We'll visit a couple other of his movies. But that's right, the Sissy Spacek Carrie, which is the best one.
I'm so excited.
Are you? When did you see Carrie first?
I don't know. I was probably like 12 or 13.
Right.
And I've probably seen it 100 times since then.
And I mean, you can tell, like, in this movie, they definitely drew inspiration from that, where she kills Kelly and, like, starts fucking
definitely.
everybody up in
yeah.
I mean, except Carrie isn't really crispy. But
she's just bloody.
But yeah, I think it's perfect because we're not leaving the prom, and we'll be back next week. So keep your dresses on and make sure you get that tux rental a little longer.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So that was 1987, which is the year I was born. Isn't that great? 1987's Prom Night 2. Hello, Mary Lou.
See you later, alligator.
I'm Lee. That over there is Brittany. She's not paying attention to me.
I am. I don't know why you always have to introduce me.
I don't know. It's funny because you get flustered about it.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say after that.
I know, you get flustered. Anyway, stay spooky.
Stay horrific.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, that's another awesome episode. Thanks for joining us tonight. And we'll hope to see you back next week for Carrie. Ooh. Anyway, head on over to our Facebook page and drop us a line. See what's going on. Like it. You can see when episodes are coming up, news, and all sorts of stuff. Also, head on over to our website at nightofthehorrorfile.com. And you can find us on Twitter. That's @H Horrorfile. And be sure to share the show. Tell your friends about us. Anything helps. Love ya. Stay spooky.